This here is meant as a supplement to the commentary on the R.O.B episode. These are some of the raw clips just so you can get more of an idea of how a lot of it was done. So I would suggest watching the commentary before watching this video here, or other way around, doesn't matter too much. So these are all the green screen shots of R.O.B when he's in the city destroying stuff. Pretty self-explanatory. Had him on a fishing line. That's about it. Okay, so what you're looking at here is the shots where all the controllers are coming after me, all the video game consoles are being electrified and coming to life. And again, it's very self-explanatory, just had a string on the controller. Same thing I did in the Mario 3 episode. Very simple. But hey, I guess it worked because a lot of people would ask me, how did you do that? And I didn't think much of it. I figured it was a pretty cheap effect, but it must have worked pretty well. So this is where the electricity is going through the wires, so I'm just pulling on them a little. This shot here, this is where everything happens on the TV. So I'd have all these backgrounds loaded up, and I made a DVD to put in the DVD player because, I could comp it all in later, but it's kind of easier when you just have something on the TV to begin with. And I'd have this DVD loaded with all the backgrounds I needed, and whatever I needed, I would just cue it up. This shot here, I was sort of using the TV as a blue screen, which sometimes works, although a lot of light from it got onto R.O.B. So this is where he jumps into the TV, and now this part here is actually a shot that was already green screened and already, I already did the effects for it, and I just put that on the TV. So it's kind of like working backwards, I guess, or you're kind of going into the post-production phase and then going back into production. For R.O.B moving, a lot of times I was just sort of puppeteering him with my hands. And then there's the stop motion. You can see here I'm moving his head frame by frame because R.O.B can't move his head like that on his own, only his arms. The head is actually for adjusting the robot so that he's looking at the TV. So for the shots where I'm looking around the room and every game in my entire collection is being turned into gyromite and stack up, it was another really easy effect. I basically needed to just photograph one cartridge and then Photoshop it and multiply it to make it look like the whole shelf is full of them. But I moved it around here just to get it in different angles and different lighting, just so that when I go into Photoshop and start multiplying it, I had some different variations to work with. And there I am, just trying to get it to stand up, and it just kept falling. It was a lot easier with the boxes. So these are all the parts where R.O.B has to jump. I'd have to do this a lot in the video. So he's on a fishing line string, which would break very often. And, oh, I missed. I'm trying to get him to jump up onto that, platform. And that looked like an okay take, I think. Oh, nope. Still missing it. All right, here we go. Whoa, and he fell again. A lot of tries. Whoa, that wasn't feeling that one. And there, that was a pretty good one. For R.O.B throwing the gyromite and stack-up box, I would have to, get him to hold it first of all, which was kind of tough. I would have to get the arms to close down on it, and he would move, and then I would pull it away with the string. Pretty simple. It just took a lot of, a lot of tries, and I'd have to speed it up in the end, and take the string out too. So the string, I would sort of like, I would use different masks in Final Cut to get the string out of there. Here's the stack up box, same exact thing. The stack up box was harder because it kept falling out. And right there, I'd pull the string. And keep in mind also, Rob has to be looking at the TV in order to control his arms like that. So he's actually looking at the TV when he's supposed to be looking at me, and I'm in a different part of the room. So you don't notice because of the carpets underneath him, so you don't really have a sense of where he is in the room. This is the shot I think everybody liked the most, maybe. A lot of people ask me, how'd you get all those controllers to start going? And all it was two broomsticks with strings on them. So this is pretty self-explanatory, but it came out pretty well considering. So here I am just pulling the strings. You can see I'm wearing pajamas there because I'm, doing this all hours of the night. And I don't think I got dressed in regular clothes for a long time. It was like a week filming all this. So it was just like I went into hibernation to get this video done. That's what I always do though. This one especially was really tough. This part was the only part where I needed help. So my wife was actually helping out. She would pull the controllers away and see it's under my back there. I'd have to like try to arch my back so there was room. The idea was to pull the controllers away and then reverse the footage so it looks like the controllers are coming after me and wrapping around my arms. I'd also speed it up a lot. This was the same exact technique I did on the Nightmare on Elm Street video many years before, so it's just my old tricks, nothing new. Sometimes we just couldn't get, see my wife's helping me there because I'm laying down and I'm all tangled up in wires and stuff. And a lot of times the controllers just wouldn't come off. You couldn't get them to stay on. And then if you got them to stay on, they wouldn't come off. So you only get one or the other. This one is kind of tough because my arm is up in the air. So it took a lot of tries. There's a lot of takes that aren't usable. But in the end, I got enough to work with. The worst was when it was around my neck because when she'd pull on it, it was like I was being strangled. And, right there, it's like, oh, come on, come off. And there it goes. So good. Of course, I'd have to act like I'm struggling too. This part here, I had to act in slow motion. So this is where Rob is hitting me. So he's actually motorized right now because when you turn him off and turn him on again, his arms will move on their own for a little bit. So yeah, it's basically just slow motion, just getting hit in the face. Here comes another take. Boom! Alright, let's do another one. Here we go. Boom! That wasn't a good take. Boom! Here it comes, here it comes. This is sort of the POV shot of Rob punching me in the face. And really all it was just me lying on the floor all by myself with a camera. So I'm really doing it to myself here. Now it's time to get messy because here come the blood shots where I'm going to spit the blood. Right there I'm sipping it. It's Kool-Aid and my mouth is full of it. And here we go. Rob's going to hit me and I'm going to spit it out. Here it comes. And it's a lousy take because you didn't see any of it. It all went out of frame. So now I'm going to look at the playback. I'm going to get pissed off and go for another take. And you can't do too many of these because the blood gets on the shirt and it messes up the continuity. So this time you could see that there's a lot of space on the side, so now I have a little more room to work with. See, this would be easier if I had a camera operator or another director to actually tell me if the take was bad. And as you can see, that was a good take right there. So it's really hard doing this kind of thing all by yourself. This is a different kind of blood. This is the kind that's supposed to stay on my face. It's corn syrup, red food dye, and a little drop of blue food dye. For some reason that helps it out. And that looks disgusting. So this is different than the Kool-Aid that I spit out my mouth. And I also have the Kool-Aid in my mouth at the same time. There it is, just came out. And not knowing when enough is enough, I'm still sipping more Kool-Aid. Might as well use it all up. Got my glasses all crooked. And that is it. Rob is fucking me up. This is the green screen of where I'm flying out to fight Rob, like a big Ultraman battle or something out of a Godzilla movie. This part, it didn't come out as great as I hoped. You can see right there my limitations on the green screen. I mean, look at that. That's all the room I have. So I'm looking in the camera constantly trying to make sure that none of my body is going to go outside the green. And even that clamp up there on the top is really annoying me. I just don't have much room to work with. And with green screen, you have to stay far away from the screen because you don't want to get any shadow. And you don't want the same light that's on the screen to be the same light that's doing you. Somehow I hit myself in the chin there. It's going to be some real blood.
How did you do that? It doesn't even reach my chin.
One of the fun things about green screen is that you don't have to move the camera around very much. To get all the different angles you need, you would just, turn your body around. And I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to be using. Well, I had a pretty good idea, but I wanted to get as many different variations as I could so that I can, have a lot to experiment with when I'm editing. That's in case Rob is on my other side. There I'm dodging some lasers, but I'm constantly looking at the camera because I'm trying to, looking at that LCD screen just to see if my hand goes out of frame. I don't even think I used any of that. Did I ever punch Rob? No, I don't think so. So here's the back shot. Actually, it's pretty impressive I managed to stay inside that green as much as I did. So this is one of the last shots I filmed. So that is where the wall gets broken and Rob is behind it destroying the city. That's all it was. I just threw a green screen on it and decided, just figure it out later in Photoshop. And it worked out. Right here, look at those clamps holding the power pad on me. Don't clamp them on your skin, by the way. It hurts. So I don't know what I'm doing here. I think I'm getting the costume ready. And looks like I'm about ready to go. Here I am focusing. So I'd usually zoom in, I'd focus on something and then zoom back out. I'm looking at the camera, I'm looking at the LCD screen, trying to see if I'm in focus. And you could see I'm having some trouble because the light is causing a glare. And after you stare at those lights for a really long time, you just start to go blind. So I'm really straining here and totally exhausted. I mean, if you look at my face, I am completely whipped by this point. So I've been filming this thing all week and, I'm trying to get through my head. What am I doing? I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? All right, so Rob's coming in and I'm going to touch the TV. I'm going to grow huge. The idea being that the TV sends a surge of electricity towards me, that after Rob dove into the TV, now the TV sort of took on some kind of supernatural, like magnetism. So now I touch it and I grow big. So here I get up off the floor, got all my gear ready. I'm ready to go fight Rob. There he is. I'm looking at him. And now I touch the TV and I'm going to grow big. Takes a lot of imagination. So that's all the main shots, all the most important things. If you have a cat, by the way, cats are very fascinated with Rob the robot. Earlier, Boo here was going nuts trying to attack the thing, but I was too late with the camera because now he's kind of, starting to get a little bored with it. So there he is. He's like, all right, I'm done with that. Here he comes again. Just sniffing around. He's like an inspector. He just always has to come into the room and see what's going on. Yep, that's Boo. And that's Rob.